And welcome into TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and very big news on today's agenda in this news roundup video, because our search for a centre forward, our backup number 9, may be at its end, and it does bring a surprising conclusion. We are going to be covering all that in this video, along with Dembele, Samper and Denis Suarez. It's all coming up, let's do this. And if we first of all start with that very important news pertaining to Ousmane Dembele, who really lit up the Camp Nou last night with his performance against Leganes, but it was sadly cut short, of course, after the Frenchman went down in a bit of a heap following a very unfortunate landing on his left ankle. He fell, he was unchallenged, and at the time it all looked very concerning for his man Dembele. Many of us, of course, fearing the worst given his unfortunate injury history, but good news it is, very good news. The injury is not serious in the slightest. Following further tests that he had this morning in Barcelona, the club have officially confirmed now that Dembele has only suffered a sprained ankle, which will keep him out of action for just 15 days, which obviously is a lot more positive than it could have been. It could have been a lot worse, it could have been a tear, it could have even been a break. Thankfully, it is not that serious, and Dembele will be back with us in just 15 days' time. That being said, those 15 days will see him miss the next 4 Barcelona fixtures. He'll miss both legs of our Copa del Rey quarter-final against Sevilla away first, and then back at the Camp Nou. He'll also miss our visit to Girona in the league next weekend, which could be a tricky game, and also our meeting against Valencia at the Camp Nou, which will take place a week on Saturday. But as with every injury, especially with big players like Ousmane Dembele, I think it's really important now that we let him recover 100%. Don't rush him back, don't cut any corners, make sure that he's absolutely right, take no chances, especially with the big games that we have coming up in this vital stage of the season. And before we go on, guys, I just want to quickly address something that happened yesterday, not at Barcelona first team level, but at Barcelona B team level, and it all revolves around Barcelona B player Moussa Wagué, and it was something that happened during the game yesterday. Barcelona B losing by a goal to nil to Ahea in the Segunda B division. But what happened basically was 10 minutes from time, there was an altercation between Moussa Wagué and one of the supporters, very close to the pitch it was in the lower leagues, and he basically lashed out, or sort of got involved in an altercation with one of the fans, and was then shown a straight red card from the referee. And I just want to sort of clear his name, because a lot of people here were saying it was sort of violent and things like that, but he's come out today, he's apologised for his actions, but as we suspected, it is not good on the side of the fans here, because he says, "My action comes after being the subject of numerous and repeated insults and racist chants that should never ever be tolerated on a football field." So once again here, in Spanish football, we know there is a bit of a problem with racism, and not only racism in and around the football field, this has got to be dealt with. You've got to deal with this here. The clubs have got to be punished on behalf of their supporters. They have to act against things like this. Obviously, what Moussa Wagué did, you shouldn't do. You shouldn't retaliate. You can't get involved in things like that as a footballer. But at the same time, these players have got to be respected. They have to be protected. And racism, like you say, whether it be in football or any other area of life, it's not acceptable and cannot under any circumstances be tolerated. And now we move on to the imminent future of Sergi Samper, who has received the medical green light at long last, along with Thomas Vermaelen just a few days ago. He was all cleared. He has now recovered from that recent injury that he suffered. But whilst Thomas Vermaelen appeared straight back into the Barcelona team, and he really impressed last night on his return, Sergi Samper was not included so quickly, and in fact is unlikely to be included and involved at all as the season progresses, because a report in MD this morning say that Barcelona have already decided not to renew Sergi Samper's contract, which expires in June 2019. So this coming summer, as it stands right now, Sergi Samper is going to be a free agent, meaning that right now he can negotiate his exit with another club this month, with a view then to making that free transfer come the summer transfer window, which really is in a way very sad and unfortunate news for Sergi Samper, for us Barcelona fans as well, who has suffered enormous bad luck right throughout his career. He's had loans where it hasn't worked out because of a bad injury. He's come back here in pre-season, he broke down with injury again, but at the age of 24 now, he's no longer that emerging young talent that he once was coming through the Barcelona system. Now is the time for him to go somewhere, play regular football hopefully, and really establish himself again in the game of football. That's really important, and I really do hope that whatever club he ends up going to, that he can play regularly, that we can see him out on the field, and hopefully he can become the player that he once promised. But without further ado guys, it is now on to the big and yet extremely surprising news of the day, and that does of course relate to our search for a backup striker, and according to several reliable sources in the media, this one is so close. That search has concluded, and the man chosen to fit the role in the Barcelona squad is none other than Kevin Prince Boateng. I repeat, Kevin Prince Boateng. You did hear me correctly. We have identified the former Hertha Berlin, Tottenham, Dortmund, Portsmouth, AC Milan, Schalke, Las Palmas, Frankfurt player is set to join Barcelona in the coming days after Barcelona closed an agreement with his current club Sassuolo. Now, according to reports in both Italy and Spain, Boateng will join Barcelona on an initial loan deal until the end of the season. At the end of that loan deal, there will be an option to buy at the end of the season, very similar to the deal we concluded with Valencia for Jason Murillo. According to Sky in Italy, that buy option will stand at €8 million, and according to TV3, another reliable source, he will undergo his medical with Barcelona tomorrow. This is all moving very quickly. The reports came out this morning, they were very concrete right across the board. Boateng on his way to Barcelona, and meanwhile Rakwan, who say the player is very much on his way, is going to be on a plane soon, arriving in the city of Barcelona. Rakwan say that Ernesto Valverde himself chose Kevin Prince Boateng. Valverde felt that he fitted the right profile of the player that he was looking to bring in to strengthen the squad, and Rakwan basically say that Kevin Prince Boateng was chosen especially by Valverde simply because of that experience that he has over all the top leagues that he's really accounted for over his long career. 31 years old of course now, and has experienced a lot of things over the course of his time in the top flight, and they also consider him the club here as a reinforcement who can adapt quickly to the Barcelona system. That's what Rakwan is saying, that he can adapt quickly, that he's a competent player, that he's an aggressive player in the way that he plays, and he's going to give everything apparently if he's chosen in these 5 or 6 months that he's going to play in the Barcelona shirt. He's chosen as the man to come in as the centre forward, which is very interesting in itself, because on the face of it, you look at Kevin Prince Boateng, you look at his career, he's not exactly your traditional number 9 centre forward. He's actually very far from it. He spent most of his career playing in midfield as more of a creative player than a goal scorer. However, in the past few seasons, his game has adapted bit by bit. He has played more recently in a false 9 role in the teams that he's been at, and I'm going to be giving you a full lowdown on Kevin Prince Boateng with everything you need to know if, and most likely when, he's announced as a Barcelona player. The positives and of course the negatives, that'll all be coming up when he's announced. But I do want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you think of the imminent signing of Kevin Prince Boateng? Somebody coming in as a backup to Denis Suarez. Can he play that role? Should we be going down this route? And what do you think of the profile of the player that we're going to get in Boateng? And finally guys, I do just want to bring you an update on the future of Denis Suarez, who's been very heavily linked with a move away from the club right throughout this January transfer window. But his anticipated move to Arsenal this January seems to have hit a bit of a snag right now, and it's looking like it may not be resolved between the two clubs before the end of this window, because according to reports in Spain, Unai Emery does indeed want to bring Denis to Arsenal. He's very keen on the player himself, and likewise Denis is more than happy to go to the Premier League and join with Arsenal. But it's actually Barcelona, the club, that are preventing the deal from this all happening, because at the start of this deal, a 3 to 4 million loan fee for the remainder of the season was discussed between the two clubs, and it was actually agreed by us, and they said that's fine, we're happy to pay a loan fee to get Denis Suarez for the rest of the season. He'll help us secure our top 4 place in the Premier League. But it's actually the buy option and the way that Barcelona want to structure that part of the deal which is really stopping it all happening, simply because Barcelona want to insert a €25 million obligation to buy at the end of the season, meaning basically that Arsenal would have to purchase Denis Suarez this summer instead of just having the option to do so. Arsenal right now are not budging over that. They only want to have an option to buy and not an obligation. So right now, as it has been now for quite a long time with Denis Suarez, his future at the club is certainly unclear, and his next move, we still don't know. And so that brings to an end today's news roundup, guys. Please leave all your thoughts and your comments down below. Let me know on everything that we have discussed in today's video, and of course, please do let me know your thoughts on Kevin Prince Boateng. What are your feelings about that imminent signing? What will he bring to Barca? Let me know down below, guys. I will see you soon, of course, with more videos. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça.